Hi and welcome. This three-part report is called Broken Trust, a Family, the Police, and a System in Question. Part 1. The Marriage, the Money, and the First Signs of Trouble. When a young couple exchanged vows in their early 20s, the future appeared wide open. The husband was 22, the wife 21. Friends and family recall their wedding as simple but full of promise. Two young people starting a journey together, determined to build a family. 9 months later, their son was born, a healthy boy who became the center of their world. At least that was the intention. The husband, ambitious and eager to provide, wasted no time starting a cleaning business. It was grueling work. Hours of scrubbing, hauling, polishing, and travel. He often labored through 10 to 12-hour days, sacrificing rest for the chance to create stability for his young family. "I wanted her to have the chance to stay home with the baby," he later said. "I thought if I worked hard enough, we could all be happy." The home he returned to, but the dream of balance and partnership began to fracture almost immediately. When the husband arrived home after those exhausting shifts, he expected a warm welcome or at least a household kept afloat. Instead, he was met with disarray. Dirty dishes stacked high, laundry left untouched, toys scattered across the floor, the baby often unsettled. The young father, already drained, would hang up his work gear and step straight into domestic chores. He cooked, he cleaned, he bathed his son and rocked him to sleep. While his wife rested or remained distracted, he continued working, only this time, inside the walls of his own home. "It felt like no matter how much I gave, it wasn't enough," he recalled. "I'd work all day, then come home and work all night. I was breaking my back for us, but I never felt any support." The resentment grew quietly at first, buried under exhaustion, but it festered. The broken agreement. In their early conversations, the couple had struck a deal. The husband would handle the physical labor, and the wife would manage the administration of the business. Invoices, bookkeeping, and payments would be her contribution to the family enterprise. It was an arrangement that gave the husband hope, but reality fell far short. Weeks would pass without invoices being sent. Client payments were delayed, sometimes by months. The husband says that more than once, their family survived on scraps because paperwork had not been completed. He confronted her, asking why simple tasks had gone undone. The excuses varied. She was tired, she forgot, she would get to it tomorrow. But tomorrow rarely came. Frustrated but determined not to see his business collapse, the husband took over the books himself. After 12-hour cleaning shifts, he would sit bleary-eyed at the kitchen table under the dim glow of a lamp, sorting receipts and tapping out invoices into the night. "I'd be falling asleep at the desk, but I knew if I didn't do it, we'd have nothing," he said. This sense of carrying the entire weight of the household, financially, practically, emotionally, settled heavily on him. He began to feel like not just a worker, but a single parent inside his own marriage. The first debt. The warning signs were not only in the house. Early in the marriage, a crisis hit when the husband discovered that his wife had ignored months of phone bills. Debt collectors began calling with threats, demanding more than $4,500 in unpaid charges. The husband was blindsided. He had believed their finances were under control. Instead, he found himself rushing to cover a bill that could have damaged their credit and reputation. He paid it off in full. What lingered, however, was not the debt itself, but the lack of remorse. According to the husband, his wife brushed it off as though nothing was wrong. "It wasn't just the money," he said. "It was the way she didn't care. I felt like I was dragging the whole family uphill while she was pulling us back down." A second child, heavier burdens. Years later, the couple welcomed their second child, a daughter. By then, they had moved into a house and seemed to outsiders like a growing, successful family. But inside, tensions deepened. The wife worked sporadically in low-income roles, retail, hospitality, casual shifts, but she rarely kept a job. Her husband says she would often quit or be dismissed, citing conflicts with managers or dissatisfaction with hours. Her earnings never lasted. Once again, the husband bore the financial weight alone. Every bill, every meal, every roof over our heads. It all came from me, he recalled. And yet I felt like I was the bad guy any time I asked for help. The shattering discovery. Then came the discovery that shook him to his core. For several months, the wife had been pretending to go to work. Each morning she dressed in uniform, gathered her belongings, and left the house. The husband believed she was contributing to their household income, but it was all an illusion. While she maintained the appearance of employment, she was also quietly withdrawing large sums of money from his business account. By the time the husband uncovered the truth, nearly $40,000 was gone. The revelation hit him like a hammer. I felt sick, he said. I was working myself to death, and she was draining everything behind my back. I didn't know whether to be angry, heartbroken, or just numb. When he confronted her, the argument escalated. The husband says she lashed out physically, striking him multiple times. Neighbors, alarmed by the noise, called police. A visit from police officers arrived at the home, but despite the husband's claims of physical violence and financial theft, the matter was logged as a domestic dispute. No charges were laid against the wife. For the husband, it was a moment of despair. I felt like nobody was listening, he said. She hit me, she stole from me, and yet I was the one left standing there with nothing. Choosing to forgive. Despite everything, the husband did not leave. He told himself he was staying for the children, that they deserved stability. I thought maybe if I forgave her, we could start again, he admitted. I still loved her, even after everything. I didn't want my kids growing up in a broken home. So he buried his pain and carried on, working, parenting, forgiving. But underneath the surface, cracks widened. The betrayal with the $40,000 was not an isolated incident. It was the first in a chain of events, allegations of prostitution, OnlyFans, drugs, and police involvement, that would soon spiral their lives into chaos, leaving the husband facing not only personal devastation, but criminal charges. This will be explored in Part 2. Editor's note: these are allegations and have not been independently verified.